Hey everybody, Brent Florica here. Welcome back to Sketchbook B. It's been a while since the first half of these 10 styles of Jesus from the Chosen, but finally finished the rest of them, and so I'm ready to put it up on the channel here for y'all to see. So please let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. I'm really curious to know. I've attempted some new ones in this video that I haven't done before, and I was really happy with the results of them, so please let me know which one was your favorite. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to drawing. So the first style that we have to do in this video is Jason Fabok, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best in the business. Absolutely love his style. So realistic, so detailed, so intentional, I'll say. It just feels like every line is there for a reason. Every time he puts his pen down, it's like it's with purpose, and there's a lot of detail, in particular in areas like the hair. He tends to show like a lot of the strands of hair as opposed to just like big generic chunks, and I really like that about his work, and so I tried to incorporate some of that into this piece here. That was a lot of fun. And also he puts a lot of detail into his backgrounds and doesn't just put like a gradient in the background or something like that. He puts a lot of detail into his cityscapes, things like that, to try and make the scene kind of part of the image as well, not just the character being focused on. So I tried to add some of that in here as well, and I had a lot of fun with this one. I loved doing his style for the Sherlock 10 styles video, which you can check out on my channel, and then it was a really fun project to try and attempt that again this time, and I was really happy with the result. This was definitely one of my favorites from the 10 styles this time around. Okay, 7 of 10, Dan Mora. I was first exposed to his work maybe 3 years ago or something like that, and I really enjoyed it, and there's something that's like simple about it, but also really dynamic and exciting. I think a big part of that is all of the straight lines that he uses. He uses a lot of like geometry and that kind of thing in his work, like straight jagged edges, that kind of thing, to make his work very like exciting and dynamic, and that works really well for his action poses and things. And I feel like it kind of worked against me on this project a little bit, simply because I wasn't able to fully take advantage of that with this very basic simple pose. If it was something like more of an action shot or whatever, then maybe I could kind of incorporate the strength of his style a little bit better. But one other thing I like about his work is that his line work is kind of more subdued compared to other artists. He doesn't use really thick outlines on his stuff. He lets kind of the color and the shape language do most of the talking, and I enjoyed sort of trying to apply that to this piece, and yeah, I did my best with it. I hope you enjoy it. Here's the finished result. So now on to Alex Vede. This one ended up being, I think, my favorite one out of the 10 this time around. Absolutely love this guy's work. First was exposed to it about 2 years ago, and I've just really enjoyed it ever since. It's very fun and loose and like actually messy looking. When you first look at it, it's easy to think, wow, that's just really messy art. But the more I've seen it, the more I've appreciated it. He creates a lot of emotion within his work, even with this sort of messy style, and a lot of that has to do with like the color schemes that he uses. But I love the way he creates a very distinct like foreground and background in his pieces, which is really fun. And one thing he does also, or a couple things, he uses a lot of like white space showing through, like you can see on the background that I filled in here. He'll leave like chunks of white showing through, and also he'll go back in after he does his inking and coloring, like underneath the line work, and add color over the line work as well, and to obscure some of it. And I think that that's actually really cool and just makes his look kind of unique compared to other artists. So this one was a ton of fun. He uses dots a lot for shading. I tried to incorporate that. So I think I succeeded. This one turned out pretty good. And now Jake Parker, second last one. Jake Parker is the creator of the Inktober drawing challenge, which I've attempted several times. You can see my Inktober playlist on the channel here. And yeah, he has a lot of like cartoon influence, so you can kind of see that coming through here with just the sort of simple shapes and the very kind of thick line work. Had a lot of fun with this because it's loose and fun, and just sort of it has this light-hearted vibe that I really enjoy. And as we get into sort of the coloring side of things as well, he goes with a very sort of simple coloring method that is very common with sort of cartoon shows or things like that, where it's just everything is colored in with like big blocks of color, and then over top of that, on like a multiply layer with a light purple or something like that, he'll go in and add some very basic like cell shading, where you just kind of go over just specific areas. You don't really blend it in smooth, and you let it sort of speak for itself. And so I tried to incorporate that, and I was really happy with the result. And finally, this was the big one. I was saving this for last because I was probably the most excited for this one. Alex Ross, a legendary comic artist. He hand paints all of his artwork, which is just boss. And his stuff looks incredible. It has this real like nostalgic, iconic vibe about it. And it just, I don't know, it's like really inspiring and like hopeful. And I really enjoyed trying to bring that into this one with my markers. This was the only one of these 10 I did traditionally. And I really enjoyed that process, getting back with the markers to try and replicate his gouache painted look. He does a lot of like intense spotlights on sort of one side of the character, and then like a really deep shadow opposite that. So after I kind of went through and laid down my basic sort of color scheme and areas of highlight and shadow, I went back in afterwards with like some really dark markers to try and achieve that deep shadow on one side of the body. And I also used this image he did of Shazam as inspiration, where it looks like the character stepping through the light. So I tried to do that with the background as well. I feel like it worked out pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments. So here's all 10. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Thanks so much for joining me at Sketch with B. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, you know, all that stuff. And I really hope you enjoyed all 10 of these styles. I had so much fun putting it together. And please leave a comment below if you want to see me try a different character in 10 styles, or if you have another style that you would really like to see me try. Feel free to leave those comments below. I read all the comments, so I would love to see if there's something you'd like to see me attempt in the future. Anyway, until the next one, take care, and thanks for watching.